Hi, this is Jim Hale, and this is my final presentation for our social media class. And the problem that I chose to address was how we as Christians and we as the church can use social media to reach the unchurched, to reach people who might not be interested in Jesus. Evaluating how I think I did, I think overall probably not great. I think some of the things I did right was I kind of learned how to be more intentional about my participation on social media. I actually participated with purpose. I had never tweeted before this class, and I have a dozen or so tweets under my belt now. I've always kind of participated on Facebook, but never anything trying to be significant, just every once in a while a funny story about the kids or something. So I learned my way around Twitter, and I learned how to approach social media with a purpose. I think one thing I would do different is would work on my frequency. The article we read about social media being addicted to likes, I don't think I'm addicted to likes, but I do think that as I posted questions and tried to get responses from people about whether the church is relevant in their life or what they think about when they hear the word Christian. Didn't get very many responses, and I think that discouraged me and made me not all that eager to try harder. So while I agree with a lot of what we talked about throughout the class, that once you put something out on social media, it's there to stay, I also think that once I post something on social media, 10 minutes later, there's 100 posts after mine. And so if it's not right in front of their face, then people aren't going to see it unless they're looking for it, or it's likely to get missed. And so being strategic about when you post and how often you post, I think, is important. And it's something that I would need to play with to figure out what is most effective for my audience. So I think just looking at how social media could improve our problem, or could be could be used by the church. I keep going back to a verse. I've been going back to it, I'd say, for a year or two now, but it's Matthew 5:16, and it says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." And that verse has always struck me because I think, okay, what do my good deeds have to look like for somebody to see them and then give glory to God? And that's interesting to me because I see people do good things and I see people do good works, but I don't always think, wow, I want to praise God for what they are doing. And so I think through social media, if we're intentional, we can we can show, not necessarily for our own boasting, to show people our good works, to show them how God is doing good works in our lives, and they can see that. And I mean, the goal, I think, is to inspire people. I think the Michael Wesh video was interesting to me, especially the part at the end, the video that was tacked on. The idea that it's not, for classrooms are not a professor up front with all the information, everybody else in the auditorium being given the information. We have information at our fingertips all the time. We carry around a phone in our pocket that can tell us anything at any time. So our goal is not so much to give people new information, but to help them interpret the information and to show them how our worldview, our Christian worldview, can interpret information for them. And I think what I keep going back to, the book that I referenced in my paper by Eugene Peterson, is called A Long Obedience in the Same Direction. And I think that's our Christian life, and I think that that's very applicable to what we do on social media. We need to be obedient and long-suffering. We need to keep doing the good work, and we keep moving in the same direction So as we're obedient over a long period of time and in the same goal, in the same process, that's when we'll start to see results. We won't necessarily see results. Chances are I'm not going to throw out a tweet that becomes viral and millions of people will look at it. But if I can have a consistent message and be obedient to sharing a consistent message for a long time, then people will hear it. And there's another quote that it was talking about recasting the church, but I think it applies for us, and it was from Scott McClellan. And he said, I suspect we'll need to tell our stories with as much frequency, quality, and volume as we can muster, which is the same as the long obedience in the same direction. I need to learn to be consistent and posting daily or every other day, but I need to have a presence that people will notice because I'm there. I need it to be of good quality, something that people will read and it will hit them in a way that they want to think about it. And the volume, I think, is back to the frequency. I don't think I need to stand and shout at people. And I think the approach, like Jesus did with the people outside the church, he just showed them love. We spent so much time as a church in our culture now saying what we stand against, what we're fighting against. We're against gay marriage. We're against abortion. I think people need to see what we're going to stand up for. You know, we're going to stand up for the sanctity of traditional marriage. We're going to stand up for the rights of the unborn. And instead of telling people why they're wrong for what they're doing, help them interpret what they're doing through our Christian worldview, to guide them, to be a mentor, if you will, for them, but to love them where they're at and to help them move closer to Jesus. There's another verse in Corinthians that struck me once on a missions trip, that the one who plants the seeds and the one who waters the seed have one purpose, and that's to be laborers with God. But we're not the ones that make the seeds grow. That's God that makes the seeds grow. So our goal is to just be faithful to plant seeds in the fields where God puts us. And so with social media, I think we can plant seeds, and if we can be loving and grace-filled, that will create a fertile soil that hopefully those seeds can grow. So hopefully moving forward, I have a better understanding of what it takes to use the social media field to plant the seeds for Christ's kingdom. Thank you.